Hello, and welcome to From the Kokoro. In this video, we'll talk about why you should or shouldn't move to Japan, what do you actually want for that decision, and is Japan right for you? Remember, this video is just my opinion from the heart. Kokoro to Kokoro. So you've done all the research, you've watched all the videos, you've read all the books, you've thought it all the way through 100%. And now you've decided you want to move to Japan. You're ready to go. Let me assure you, you're not. I was in your same shoes, and I thought I knew it all. I even got a degree to tell me and you that I knew everything. What a joke. But then I came here and I found out that I knew absolutely nothing. And I'm not alone. A quick look around YouTube or Google will show you thousands of expats who were not expecting what life was like here, got a harsh slap from reality, and ended up being very unhappy with their lives abroad. I want to help you consider things that I didn't learn until I was forced to by living here. That way, you can make a better informed decision for yourself, so you can either feel more confident in your choice to come, or avoid a potentially negative situation if not. Without any further ado, let's dive into some reasons you should or shouldn't move to Japan. First, let's start with the reasons not to move. Reason number 1, if you're procrastinating a more important question or life decision. If you're not really sure what you want to do with your life, or if you're facing another difficult choice, it might seem nice to escape all that and take an opportunity to live abroad instead. However, you'll have so much going on here, especially in the first few years. Yes, I do mean years. It'll be hard for you to focus on those kinds of questions. And anyway, at the moment, you can't come to Japan whether you want to or not because of COVID. So you might as well take some time to start facing those decisions now. You'll be happier in the long run that you dealt with them instead of procrastinating. Number 2, don't come to make money. There's a common misconception that you can make a lot of money as an English teacher. Yeah, that's false. Even if you get lucky and have a low cost of living in your placement, you'll have a lot of costs coming and going abroad. And if you have loans or anything else to pay back home, then you'll be losing money on yen conversion. Unless you come to an already lucrative job, like, I don't know, a CEO or something, what is a good paying job? Then you'll probably save a lot less than you think because there's a very high cost of living here. So if money is your biggest motivation, you'll be pretty unfulfilled at best. Number 3. Don't come only because you want to learn Japanese. You'll likely grow pretty frustrated with the other struggles you'll have to face, and there will be a lot besides just the language barrier. I'll cover this topic in depth in a future video, but trust me, you don't need to know Japanese before you move to Japan, and if you don't ever want to learn it, you can still live here, no problem. I recommend it because you'll get a more culturally enriched experience, but it's not required, and it definitely shouldn't be your only motivation for coming. Number 4, don't come because you feel obligated to. If you have pressure from other people in your community or life, or peer pressure, you'll likely feel extra frustrated and isolated when you come here, and none of those other people are here. If you're feeling pressure to do something with your life, and you're looking for Japan to be that thing, it could, but it's probably not gonna work out magically like you hope it will. Number 5, don't come if you're not ready for your mental health to rapidly decline. This pretty much happens to everyone who comes here. So you need some strong coping mechanisms to be able to handle it. For example, I thought because I'm a mentally strong-willed person that I would be immune to this. Whew, I was wrong. And if you think you're gonna be the exception, you're probably not going to be. So either start preparing yourself for that now, or if you really rely on a strong support group to be able to cope with things, or something that's only gonna be available to you at home, it might be best to reconsider your decision. Number 6, don't come just because. If you have really no reason to come at all, you're gonna have a bad time. I 100% guarantee it, because you're not gonna have anything to motivate you through all the crap that you have to deal with being an expat abroad. So it's gonna suck. I know that we got all the negative stuff out of the way. Let's talk about reasons to move to Japan. First and foremost, don't make the same mistakes that me and many other expats have. Fake preparedness. Remember, I thought I knew everything, but I never considered any of the reasons that I mentioned before or any of the following questions until much after I moved here. And I think had I, my life would have turned out very differently. Unfortunately, I can't tell you exactly why to move here because it's not as clear-cut as the reasons not to come. And that's because it's an extremely personal question and answer, and I can't tell you who you are for you. I wish I could. Then I'd be really rich. But to help you find the answer you might be looking for, consider the following question. 1. What expectations do you have of Japan? What do you expect daily life to look like? How do you think it'll differ from your current lifestyle? For example, personally, I expected that because I was a fully independent adult in America, paid my taxes and everything, that I would be a fully independent adult no matter where I went. I expected that I would be more satisfied with life because I've always wanted to live in Japan. I thought everything would just click. It did not. Unfortunately, there's no magic button for happiness or life satisfaction, and you've got to be prepared for that. Number 2, can you learn new things and challenge yourself constantly? And I don't just mean about Japanese as a language, but are you open and willing to learn an entirely new culture, and not just the things you tend to hear the most about, but the bad and problematic things as well? Are you even aware that they exist? If not, you should probably do some more research. And if you're not willing to face the challenge of having every good notion you think about Japan destroyed, you probably shouldn't move here. Are you ready to potentially be the only foreigner around you for kilometers and the challenges that come with that? Have you even considered what those challenges will be? For me personally, the challenge I had expected was learning Japanese and that would be difficult. And that expectation was thoroughly met, but I didn't consider all these other things, and I really wish I had done more research beforehand. You don't want to get caught off guard and have it turn this situation potentially negative. Number 3, how will you use what professional skills you learn in Japan after you leave? Some examples of these are, of course, another language, international communication, negotiation, adaptability, flexibility. There's tons of more examples you can find of these if you just Google it real quick. How will these things benefit you in the future? Do these skills you'll gain coincide with your ultimate career goals or personal goals? Personally, I didn't really know where I wanted my career to go when I came to Japan. You'll see I made many of the mistakes that I'm pointing out here. So I just got lucky that a lot of the skills I gained applied to what I want to do, and that was just lucky. I would not recommend leaving these things to chance. Number 4, what will be your motivation for getting through the tough times? How do you currently cope with difficult situations? Will you be able to cope the same way in Japan? For example, if you need a hug from a friend to calm down, you're not going to get that here right off the bat. Or if you calm down with retail therapy in a mall, that might not be possible, especially if you get placed in the countryside, which if you come as an English teacher is extremely likely. Number 5, how will you make new connections and maintain your current ones? If you don't like FaceTime, emailing, messaging, video calling, etc., it'll be pretty difficult for you and you might get a little bit isolated. But if you're already in those habits, they'll be immeasurably beneficial to you. Luckily, this pandemic thing has sharpened these skills for almost everyone, so the next generation coming to Japan will be the most prepared out of anyone who's ever come. So at least you have that going for you, which is nice. So I've given you a lot to think about here. You might be wondering how to tackle such big philosophical questions. My suggestions are, first, talk to people. Get opinions from the people in your life. Read the thousands of blogs, watch all the vlogs about the opinions of expats who have made this decision and what they did or didn't like. You can also feel free to talk to me. And then do some introspection. Understand why other people did what they did. And that's not to take their answer as your own, because only you can answer this question for you, but it'll help you think about other perspectives that you maybe hadn't considered before. Just be careful, don't take someone else's words to be your truth, even mine. Look deep inside yourself and search for your motivation of why you want to make this decision. And not just this decision to move to Japan or not, but for anything you do in life. So you might be wondering, from the Kokoro, why suddenly is important that I start reassessing my entire life before I make this decision when, like you've said, thousands upon thousands of expats have made the same decision and it's worked out for a lot of them. And you're not wrong, but I'd say there's a lot more that it hasn't worked out for than it has. There's an annual survey from British financial group HSBC Holdings, which ranks countries where expats live in satisfaction according to quality of life, job satisfaction, child rearing, etc. Overall satisfaction of expats living in Japan is real low. In last year's survey, Japan was number 32 out of 33 in overall satisfaction. In this survey, the categories of child rearing, work-life balance, employment satisfaction, and learning, Japan was dead last. This is all to say, Japan is a really wonderful place to visit, to take a vacation, Honestly, anyone who can, I highly recommend you come to Japan at least once in your life. But for living here, it's not for everyone. So if you consider some of the stuff we've talked about in this video, you can potentially avoid becoming part of these negative statistics. And again, I'm not saying don't move to Japan, but I do think if you consider some of these things, even if you decide to come still, you'll probably be more satisfied and more prepared for the challenges you face, or at the very least, less disappointed. You have to have a strong, definite reason to come here and stay, because there's going to be a lot of bullshit to get through, and you're going to really need that strong motivation to get through it. It's going to challenge you in ways you've never imagined possible. So I can't tell you if it's right for you or not. You're going to have to look introspectively and figure out why exactly you want to come to Japan and what you want to get out of the experience. I hope this has been helpful in your consideration to take the leap to move to Japan or not. If you have any questions about anything I've mentioned here or want to discuss some of the topics presented, please feel free to leave a comment below. You can also contact me via the social media linked in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you can see when I upload new videos. If you have any requests for any topics about life as an expat in Japan, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Thank you again. This has been From the Kokoro. We'll see you next time.